modern philosophy started in Western Europe during the 17th century because of René Descartes and his famous quote, "I think, therefore I am." This era saw the revival of epistemology, or the area of philosophy concerned with knowledge. Epistemology considers that knowledge can be obtained through experience and or reason. Sources of knowledge include perception, reason, memory, testimony, introspection, and innate ideas. Are they all equally reliable?
So, our philosopher of the day is George Berkeley. He is an empiricist, meaning that he believed that all knowledge comes from sense of experience. Empiricists argued that the only knowledge humans can have is posteriori, or again, obtained through experience. Berkeley, along with fellow philosophers John Locke and David Hume, were famous empiricists in the 18th century Enlightenment. A little history about George Berkeley. He is an Irish bishop, philosopher, and scientist. He was born on March 12, 1685 and died on January 14, 1753 at 67 years old. He attempted to found a college in Bermuda, but the British government did not provide funding.
Berkeley became acquainted with the works of René Descartes, Nicolas Malebranche, and John Locke. He found their ideas impressive but disturbing. Their scientific views hint skepticism and atheism, which his work as a priest combated. He started writing his philosophical notebooks in 1707, which documents his philosophical evolution. He is also a critic on the works of Hobbes, Newton, and others aside from the above.
He believed that matter doesn't exist. Everything comes from our own ideas and perception, a view that we call as immaterialism. Common sense dictates that there are only two crucial elements involved in perception, the perceiver and what is perceived. All we need to do, Berkeley argued, is eliminate the absurd. Philosophically conceived third element in the picture, that is, we must acknowledge that there are no material objects. For Berkeley, only the ideas we directly perceive are real. Immaterialism is the only way to secure common sense, science, and religion against the perils of skepticism.
He used John Locke's own logic about the primary and secondary qualities of an object against them. Berkeley believed that you cannot perceive some qualities of an object while totally disregarding others. You cannot detect any of the primary qualities, such as solidity, density, weight, mass, height, depth, and etc., without also considering its secondary qualities, color, taste, texture, smell, and sound, which is subjective. In short, you cannot have one without the other, which means that the primary qualities cannot be real, either because of your mind makes up things. Berkeley concluded that there is no such thing as matter, only perceptions. Thus, his famous quote, "SES percipi," or "to be is to be perceived."
He argued that what is more, if I dip both of my hands into a bowl of lukewarm water, after chilling one and warming the other, the water will feel both warm and cold at the same time. Clearly then, heat as I perceive, it is nothing other than an idea in my mind. Berkeley pointed out, since his perception of shape and size depend upon the position of his eyes, his experience of solidity depends upon his sense of touch, and his idea of motion is always relative to his own situation. Locke was correct in his view of secondary qualities, but mistaken about primary qualities. All sensible qualities are just ideas.
If everything is just perception, can there be anything left? Everything will not go away once we stop perceiving, because God is the ultimate perceiver. He is the only one that keeps us and everything from disappearing into oblivion. He is always watching with unblinking perception that holds objects in existence.
Berkeley put all his strength into the creation of a philosophical system designed to eliminate atheism and materialist philosophy.
If a tree falls in a forest and no one is there to hear it, does it make a sound? Some will say it does make a sound because of logical reasoning, but some explanations say it does not because sound requires a receiver in order to be called a sound. Sound is an illusion. The falling tree makes a pressure wave or aerial vibrations that our brain will turn into sound if someone were around to hear it. But if we use Berkeley's argument, it does make a sound because God is there to perceive it. But this quote from Berkeley makes us wonder if we really know what is happening. Sure, we'll say that it does make a sound, much like the sun always rises in the morning since the beginning of the time, but we're not sure if the sun will rise the next day. How will we truly know these things?